standing here in front of the Observatory Hotel. This thing has been nearly 20 years in the making. And while there's a ton of opinions floating around, I've got my own. I talked to a few locals today. Let's see what they had to say about the project.
Admittedly, it's not something I've given too much thought about. I'll readily admit I don't think it's the most aesthetically pleasing building around town. I think our valley benefits from a certain look and feel, and that building, the hotel, probably pushes that look and feel. Absent that, I want to take an optimistic view. It's jobs, it's growth, it's a harbinger of good things to come. It shows investment in the valley. And I think it remains to be seen what actually goes inside the hotel, right? Like the building itself is one thing. The people who go there, the people who work there, sort of what comes out of the hotel to me is the bigger question. And I'm just going to keep a positive sense and say that, like so many other new ventures, new companies, new buildings, it eventually integrates into the community. It becomes part of the fabric of the community. And we look back and say, yes, I'm glad that happened.
Perfect. Now, we've never had a 5-star resort. This is a 5-star resort. Does something like that, how does that impact our valley?
I suppose my initial reaction is like 5-star is a label. I mean, I've been in the Ram. I would assume that's 5 stars. I've been in the Limelight. I would have assumed that's 5 stars. I've been in the Covey. I would assume that's 5 stars. And so absent the label, I can't imagine it's going to really do much of anything. Perhaps it brings in a new, let's say, level of clientele into the valley. I think we as a community will figure out a way how to integrate those folks. Or frankly, maybe there's just sort of a different layer of the valley that operates at a different level. I'll say that I've been to bars, restaurants, other venues where I see folks like, I didn't even know that person existed. And that's okay, right? That this community can handle different people, different walks of life. 2 stars, 1 star, 5 star. Again, arbitrary label. And it's about how we integrate that label and the people who are attracted to it into our community. And I'm confident that we will.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed another hotel. Right now, it's just another 5-story building that blocks views. But the observatory is different. Definitely new, but I don't know if it's going to be sustainable for who's coming into town, or maybe over Christmas. That's about it. But if they can make it, great. I mean, I had the same opinion for the Limelight, and I've changed my opinion since then. So it could change with this one too.
And do you think that the 5-star hotel, does that bring in a different type of client than we've had in the past? How do you think that impacts the town?
We've always had high-end clients come to town, but I don't think anybody here really cared as far as like where you come from or how much money you have. It's just, if you're nice, we'll be nice.
Good. Thanks,
How's
man.
that?
All right, the new hotel opens, the Observatory, this year. As a local, what are your thoughts?
I think it's an ambitious project. Excited for the visit to the top floor. Take a look at the beautiful stars that we have, and we're blessed by in this community. Yeah, it's a shock as you're coming into town, not just because it's new, but it's quite large scale. It kind of changes the appearance of town as you're entering. Kind of reminds me of coming into Jackson with great thoughts about Aspen being, it's not Aspen, but Jackson being this like wilderness area, and seeing a gigantic Albertson shopping center at the entrance to Jackson. And we'll see how it kind of blends into the community from there. I've got questions about the economics, but that's not my area of expertise. I know Limelight just is down to 3 floors, and this is more than that, and it seems higher than what the direction that the community is going towards building heights. But You know, on the other hand, it promises some interesting values in the hospitality side, bars and restaurants and so forth.
Now it's a 5-star hotel. We don't have a product like that, and never have.
No.
How do you think something like that impacts or maybe changes the dynamics of the town?
Well, you know, if that the impacts of the town. Look, I think there's in town a false duality between progress and preserving the status quo, or development and the status quo. And I think, you know, the choice or the decision of whether it's actually growth and good for the town is, how is it aligned with the town? How does it respect, you know, the character of the town? How does it, you know, integrate with, you know, what makes this a great place? And that kind of remains to be seen. If it becomes, you know, a haven for people to pop in and pop out and actually takes from the town and doesn't add to the town, then it's probably not progress. So I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of, for me, maybe that says it all.
As the trash truck drives by.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't become that. I mean, I think the potential's there for it to be something good. You know, for me, the jury's out, and I think it remains to be seen how it integrates with the town and adds value to the town.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time and your insight.
Sure, you bet.
I can't wait to go into the observatory. I definitely appreciate it over what was there, and yeah, I'm psyched to have it.
Now, for those that don't know, what was there?
A hole in the ground for the last decade. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Now, with that
I'm
5-star classification, do you think that changes the town at all?
I don't think the classification of the hotel changes the town at all. I mean, it adds more rooms, which allows more people to come. So I think that would be the only change I'd see.
And have you ever stayed at one of the, I think it's Viceroy, I believe that's how you pronounce the brand name. Have you ever stayed at one of their properties?
Never stayed at a Viceroy.
All right, thank you.
I might do a staycation now.
We might have to.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, dude.
All right.
My gut check is that, you know, I think if the project winds up being built successfully and successfully operated, you know, it could be a real benefit to town. It's going to bring a lot of jobs, a lot of money to town. And it's hard for me to separate the current context where we are and sort of the polar opposite context where town was when the project came along and got approved. You know, for anyone who was here and town was crawling out of the recession, you know, that project was seen as a real prize and as a real benefit to town. And as we've come, you know, a decade and a half past that timeline, probably, and through the influx of COVID and what that has done to bring people to town, you know, it's easy and low-hanging fruit to sort of judge the current project in the current context. But I think if you step back and realize that, like, you know, projects like these are necessary for towns to grow, for towns to thrive when they're done correctly, you know, you are a little easier on your criticism toward the project.
Now, Sun Valley doesn't have a 5-star resort. This is a 5-star resort. Do you think that impacts town what impact does it have on town?
Well, it's hard to argue any negative impacts. I would say, you know, unless you talk about the potential for it to price out some locals by drawing a different heeled crowd here. You know, I think having an amenity like that in town that depends on tourism and depends on those external dollars, you know, keeping all the locals sort of afloat, it's going to be a benefit to town long term.
All right. Well, I appreciate your insight and your thoughts on it.
Thanks.